These are just conversations that you should be having with somebody. Whether it's your financial advisor, your spouse, or somebody else, they should be conversations about what are the things that are really on your mind that really matter to you the most, and not just what are the things that we're told we're supposed to be going after. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of The Pursuit. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not watching this on YouTube, don't forget you can find us over on YouTube. You got to search PRST. Remember, we're on our mission to get 100 subscribers so we can tell you at youtube.com/PRST, but we're not there yet. But if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see I've got the outdoor scenery behind me. Maybe you can hear a little bit of wind on the podcast, but I know that as we head into September, my days on the patio in Indiana are limited, so I'm trying to maximize those. Being outside in the sun, connecting with nature, which I was able to do a bunch of this week. So wanted to just draw your attention and remind you, if you're in the Midwest like I am, we've only got so many weeks left. Take advantage of the good weather whenever it's here. Get outside, get some vitamin D, one of the best things you can do, and it will make you feel good as you go on your pursuit. So speaking of your pursuit, let's talk about this week's pursuit. And for the first time in a really long time, I didn't plan this one out. I'm recording this later in the day, so if you're used to getting this on Friday morning, you notice it's coming Friday afternoon. But I had a busy morning. I had one-on-ones with the first collective members. So if you remember, this week I started the Pursuit Collective, a 6-week class, course, whatever you want to call it, to help people find and identify what's missing in their life, find that passion, bring it to their life, and figure out how to bring it in a smaller way and let it grow, ultimately leading to a happier, more fulfilled life. I'm really excited about it. I think the first week went really well, and the one-on-ones were awesome. So getting this later in the day, because it's full transparency, I had a little bit of poor planning as I went into the first week. I should have scheduled the one-on-ones before the collective started, which left us with just Friday being the only day to have the one-on-one reviews, but we got it fixed. So any of you that join the next collective, it's already going to be better than the first time, just from a scheduling standpoint. But this week, I had a pretty cool week from a financial advisor standpoint, in that I had meetings with my clients that allowed me to bring pursuit into those relationships. So a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about this concept with financial advisors, encouraging them to help their clients find the ideal life for them. And this week I had a meeting with a client. It was nothing about his financial plan. We had already done that earlier in the year. The full hour we spent together was just talking about his new business and how he could work on branding and marketing and try to grow his business. And as a financial advisor, that's not something that we would normally bring to a conversation with our clients, but I'm not your average financial advisor. I love those conversations, and I look at it as part of my duty, is that is a skill that I have that can help one of my clients. I should be helping them with that, having those conversations, giving him ideas, and then helping him as he gets his content strategy going for his new business. We already planned for the new business from a financial planning standpoint. Now it's time for me to take some skills that I have and help him in another, which I fully loved. It was really, really cool. And as the wheels get turning, like that could be a new type of financial planning relationship for entrepreneurs and business owners and creatives to like bring this branding into the relationship that I have with him. But I won't be doing that. I may encourage other advisors to consider that, but it was really cool. The next day I met a client. He came over from Illinois. We met down in Bloomington, Indiana, for a morning of paddleboarding and talking a little bit about his plans and aspirations and his goals, but then life, parenting, investing, business goals, and just had a real good conversation out in nature. And it was really cool. And what does this have to do with you, Pursuit? These are just conversations that you should be having with somebody. Whether it's your financial advisor, your spouse, or somebody else, they should be conversations about what are the things that are really on your mind that really matter to you the most, and not just what are the things that we're told we're supposed to be going after. So to help somebody begin the beginning of their business, think about how they can grow it and be able to help them there. To help another client outside of the numbers of the spreadsheets and the investments, think about the life that he wants to create for him and his family, risks that he wants to take. What are the trade-offs? How can you do that? Those are really the main important questions, the things to be thinking about as you're on your pursuit. And then today I went with one of my retirees. He has a boat. He lives on the water. He hasn't been able to get on the boat very much this year, so we took the boat across the lake to go have lunch. Sounds silly, sounds meaningless, but from a quality of life, I know he enjoys being on the water. He doesn't have a lot of people to go out on the water with. So to be able to go be with him, spend time outside of the business realm, put him in somewhere that I know brought happiness and joy for him. And, selfishly, I like being on the water as well. But I was able to give him a reason to get on the boat, go drive around the lake for an hour, reminisce on some stories. He was telling me all types of stories. It was really, really cool. And to me, I want to share those experiences because that's what this is really all about. It's really about the things that you enjoy, the things that light you up. I told my client, his wife was with us on the ride. He was talking about back in the days when he was a young knucklehead. And as he was telling the story, I could see him light up. I could see that he was revisioning those stories with his buddies, making foolish decisions as a young man. And I could see the twinkle in his eye. It was really cool. And I really want to encourage you to find the opportunity to find the things that excite you and don't forget what they were and if they can become a part of your life today. That's what Pursuit is about. The other thing I want to talk about today, as the microphone almost falls, is when you're going on your pursuit, there's going to be the opportunity to overcommit yourself. I am guilty of this for my whole career, but it really came to be a problem last year that I resolved at the end of the year and beginning of this year. Stretching myself too thin. And I was talking to a friend that he hit that breaking point as well, and ultimately made a decision to give up something that he was doing that he enjoyed, had financial implications to him and his family, but it wasn't worth it because of what it was doing to his happiness, his stress, his health, his sleep. And it's a hard decision, but the thing is, he was aware. He realized that he wasn't feeling as good as he usually does. He realized that he wasn't getting the sleep and the working out and the nutrition that he needed, and it was impacting his happiness, his health, and his productivity. And to be able to be aware of that in the moment when you're trying to do all these things and you think you can do them all, and be able to take a moment and step back and say, hey, I'm doing too much. Let me take inventory of what it is that I'm doing, and let me eliminate the thing that doesn't align with what's most important to me. So it could be your family, could be your career, could be a hobby, could be your passion. Who knows what it is? But if you ever stretch yourself too thin and you're doing too much and you're risking burnout, chances are one, if not more, of the things you're doing is something that you can eliminate. So for me, it was working at a startup, and it was some other creative things I wanted to do. I pulled back on them because I was doing too much, and I knew what was most important to me. It was my family, it was RLS Wealth, and there's this new idea of pursuit that I wanted to pursue that has now become really, really important to me. And if I would have stayed in that and tried to stretch myself longer, I probably would have had some type of nervous breakdown or something, and I'm not one to stress. So I want to encourage you as you go on your pursuit and you're exploring and you're experimenting and you're having fun and you're doing new things, if you start to notice that you're burning out, if you start to notice that you're doing too much, don't ignore those signals. Take time and take inventory about what it is that you're doing, what is moving you towards the things that are most important, and what are the things you're doing that are not. And don't be afraid to eliminate. It's a perfect opportunity to give my favorite Kendrick Lamar quote, which I get made fun of for saying all the time, but there's beauty in completion and faith in the unknown. We're not talking so much about the unknown, more along the beauty of the completion. So in this situation, kind of what I'm talking about here is if you take it on too much and it's time to complete one of them, it's beautiful. It's great that you have had the opportunity to experience whatever that thing was. And it's also beautiful and meaningful that you're able to give that up to free you up for the things that matter the most. So the other part of what I wanted to touch on today, just in this shorter episode, given that it's coming out later, is that as you go through and you have these experiences, one could call them a mistake. I don't think they're mistakes. I don't believe anything's a failure. It's a learning experience. Don't be hard on yourself. The decision you made to take on too much was for a reason. There was something that made you take on that additional thing, whether it was a curiosity, whether it was a financial opportunity, it was something you thought it was going to be that it turned out not to be. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. I think sometimes we want everything to go perfectly, and sometimes they don't. And when it doesn't go the way we wanted it to or we thought it was going to go, we're hard on ourselves. That doesn't accomplish anything. Look for the lessons in that moment, and then look for the future that you're going towards and focus on those. We've talked about sunk costs before. Don't worry about that. You made a decision. You went down a path. It wasn't what you thought it was going to be. It wasn't the right path for you, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. And also don't stay doing it longer just because you started. If it's not right for you, it's going to end at one point. I told my friend today, I said, look, you have already made the decision that you're going to give this extra up. You're already mentally at this state where that's not a part of your life. I've been there before. When I talked to my buddy and I said, hey, I got to roll. I can't do this anymore. I was already mentally at that state. And I had gotten to the realization that, okay, because I'm already thinking about not having this extra amount of work on my plate, I'm thinking about embodying what it's going to be like to have that extra time and that less stress. That version of me is already set in motion. It's going to take time for the real world to catch up with that, the conscious world to catch up with that. And when it catches up, it's either going to be on my terms where I have the tough conversation, or it's going to be that I'm so far in that space, I'm already living there, I've checked out of the other thing, and I'm going to get fired, I'm going to burn bridges, and it's going to end ugly, and I don't want that. So I told the same thing to my friends. I said, look, you're already there. I know you're already thinking about what is it going to be like when I don't have this extra responsibility. It's there. It's set in motion. You can't pull it back now because you've already made it happen in your mind. This is where my interest in quantum physics is coming in. It's already in your mind. It's already there. You have moved to that version of yourself. It will take time for the physical world to catch up. So, do you allow that physical world to catch up on your terms and keep things in good standing with the people that you have to have the conversation with? Or do you let your lack of interest in that role pull you away, impact your performance, impact your presence for what that needs to be, and then you end up getting fired, let go, and there's a lot of drama? I think the best thing is it's there. Go ahead and have the tough conversation. And it won't be that tough a conversation because it's the right decision. You're already at that new spot in the future, and everything will catch up with it quickly. So as you can hear, I've done a lot of talking this week. My voice is kind of coming and going, so I'm going to end this episode a little earlier. But I just wanted to share those few things in this kind of potpourri of thoughts today. One, find time to have those conversations about the things that are most important to you, whether that's with your spouse, your partner, friends, family, financial advisor, other trusted advisor. Talk through those things. Don't try to figure out those big life decisions, those big life thoughts on your own. Talk to people. Get out in nature, especially if you're in an area that's going to be losing the beautiful weather soon. Enjoy these moments while you can. And if you can find a way to do your business outside, go do that, whatever it is that you do. 3, if you're overworking yourself and you realize it, go ahead and drop the thing that doesn't matter the most to you. Keep the things that move you in the direction that you want to go. You may not ever narrow down to just one thing. I will never have one thing that's not me. All these things go together. And as you can hear, the family is home. And then finally, if you have these moments, don't beat yourself up. Forgive yourself. Give yourself a grace. You gotta, hey, show everybody hi. Tell everybody hi.
Hi.
So this is perfect timing. So these are the things that matter the most. So I have no problem ending this episode shorter so I can go play with this guy. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I'll be back with a normal episode next week. Have a calmer week next week, not traveling as much around the state. Thanks for joining me on my pursuit. It's an honor to be a part of yours. And let's keep pursuing. Show everybody bye, Silas.